Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, July the 11th, and welcome to our video commentary. You know, ever since President Obama opened up Cuba, when he decided to change our policy toward Cuba, that was in December 2014, I think a lot of people were very hopeful that the opening to Cuba would bring about change in Cuba. And they would often say things like, well, it's going to take some time and it's got to give it a little time. Well, it's roughly now 3.5 years. And frankly, not much change has happened, certainly no consequential change. And one of the most interesting things that has just been announced, and by the way, I want to thank my friends over at Babalu, at the Babalu blog, for pointing this out. They have a great post about this. One of the things that the Cuban government has just announced is that they're going to raise taxes and go after individual businesses because they feel that individual business people have grown very fast, in some cases have gotten wealthy, and they want to make sure they keep control over these individuals and basically keep control over their income. So they're raising taxes, they're also raising fees, and they're going to increase the control that they have over any of these small enterprises. Of course, a couple of things I can say about this. Number one, I'm not really surprised because in essence, this is still a communist government. They're not about to unleash any wave of freedom in Cuba that you would get when you have a lot of private ownership. I also think they may be looking to get more revenue out of the Cuban people. I mean, they're not exactly meeting their tourism goals. Investments in Cuba are scattered, very difficult to do business. The trade embargo still exists, but a lot of other countries are not working with Cuba. And if they do sell to Cuba, they do it on basically a 90-day cash basis or something like that. So it's still a communist country. And I think that's really the lesson of this, that it's still a communist country. And until that changes, private ownership and private business and more, let's say, exposure to freedom is still going to be very, very limited. And that's about as much as anybody can say about this. So Cuba is still a communist country. That's what it's all said and done. And there's not much more you can say than that. And until that changes, Cuba will continue to be a communist country run by the Communist Party with the objective of enriching the Castro family and some of their friends, and of course keeping control of the Cuban people through the Communist Party. We have all of these videos over at YouTube. We have them on my blog and on my Twitter. And if July 11th is your birthday, happy birthday. Have a nice day, everybody.